Hi, this is Yogita and you are watching Yogilogy. Today we are going to cover a topic on sodium potassium ATPase. Let's move to the slides. Okay, so let's start with sodium potassium pump. The concentration of potassium ion is typically 10 to 30 times higher inside the cell than outside the cell, whereas the concentration of sodium ion is 10 to 30 times higher outside the cell than inside the cell. Now, how is this sodium potassium gradient maintained? This sodium potassium gradient is maintained by sodium potassium ATPase. Now, where is this ATPase found? This sodium potassium ATPase is found in the plasma membrane of virtually all animal cells. And this active transport, that means energy dependent transport of sodium and potassium ion, is of great physiological significance. A typical animal cell devotes almost 1/3 of its energy to fuel this pump. And in electrically active nerve cells, this pump consumes even more energy, as nerve cells repeatedly gain small amount of sodium ion and lose small amount of potassium ions during propagation of nerve impulses. Now, sodium potassium ATPase belongs to superfamily of P-type ATPases because they form a key phosphorylated intermediate, which we will see shortly. Now, for each molecule of ATP converted to ADP and phosphate ion, the transporter moves 2 potassium ion inwards and 3 sodium ion outwards across the plasma membrane against their electrochemical gradient. Now, let's see a model for pumping cycle of sodium potassium pump. So, in the figure we can see the binding of intracellular 3 sodium ions and subsequent phosphorylation by ATP of the cytoplasmic phase of the pump induces a conformational change in the protein. Now, that transfers that 3 sodium ions across the membrane and release it on the outside of the cell. Then, the binding of potassium ion on the extracellular surface and subsequent dephosphorylation of the pump returns the protein to its original conformation, which transfers the potassium ion across the membrane and releases it into the cytosol. Now, sodium dependent phosphorylation and potassium dependent dephosphorylation of the protein causes the conformational transitions to occur in an orderly manner. Since the sodium potassium pump drives 3 positively charged ions out of the cell, for every 2 potassium charges pumped inside the cell, it is called as electrogenic, which means it derives a net current across the membrane, creating an electrical potential with the cells inside being negative relative to the outside. Next, let's see the molecular structure of sodium potassium pump. It is a large integral membrane protein complex made up of at least 2 subunits called alpha subunit and beta subunit, as you can see. Now, the alpha subunit is the larger one and the beta subunit is the smaller one. The primary sequence shows that alpha subunit spans the membrane 10 times, with most of the molecule found on the cytoplasmic side, whereas the beta subunit spans the membrane once and is predominantly extracellular. Hence, it is a hetero-oligomeric protein consisting of a catalytic alpha subunit and a beta subunit, which basically is required for translocation of the protein complex to the plasma membrane, and it acts like an anchor. The pump consists of the following sites. First, the site for sodium potassium binding. Second, site for ATP binding and receiving a phosphate group from this ATP phosphorylation. Site for toxin binding that blocks this pump, that is quebane. Now, one intracellular domain of the alpha subunit is required for ATP binding and hydrolysis. The amino acid phosphorylated by ATP is a conserved aspartate residue. Another extracellular domain represents the binding site for quebane, a plant glycoside that specifically inhibits the pump. Now kinetic studies have shown that sodium and potassium ions bind to the same side of the pump. Because these ions move across the membrane, it is likely that this side transverses the plasma membrane. Also, this side has a negative charge as both sodium and potassium are positively charged. Okay, removal of this pale yellow region, that is negatively charged from the membrane spanning domain of the protein greatly reduces the sodium potassium binding capacities. Now, amino acid residues thought to be important for binding of the ATP, potassium and cubane have been highlighted. Now next, let's solve some problems. So here you can see this has been asked in 2019 for 2 marks. The sodium potassium ATPase pump is found on the plasma membrane of most animal cells. A mutation in the intrinsic phosphorylation site of the pump is most likely to affect the outward movement of sodium only, the inward movement of potassium only, both the inward and outward movement of sodium and potassium. Fourth, has no effect on the pump activity but affects its stability. So over here we have just seen that in case of sodium potassium pump, okay, the 3 sodium bind to the pump and that event will allow the ATP to phosphorylate the pump. Okay. That's why we called it as sodium dependent phosphorylation. And when potassium binds the pump, okay, from the outer surface, it will be dephosphorylation. The phosphate group that is attached will be released. Okay, so potassium dependent dephosphorylation. So both these events, the phosphorylation and the dephosphorylation, are important. And if this event doesn't occur, then the sodium will bind on the inner side of the pump, okay, but it will not have a conformational change that will allow it to move on the other side, on the extracellular side of the membrane. Okay, it will be trapped in the inner side because for this conformational change to occur, it requires the energy from ATP. Okay, and if there is a mutation in this phosphorylation site, what is going to happen is it is not going to allow the conformational change. Hence, sodium is not going to be transported to the extracellular part of the cell, and potassium will not bind and come inside the cell cytosol. Okay, so both the inward and outward movement of sodium and potassium will be hindered. Okay, so the answer is 3. So next over here you can see this question is again for 2 marks. Sodium potassium ATPase is a tetramer of 2 alpha and 2 beta subunits. On which of the following subunit are sodium and potassium binding sites present? As we have seen, the alpha site is the catalytic site, the beta site is basically helps in anchoring the protein. And on the alpha site, as the kinetic studies shows that the binding site for both the sodium and potassium are present on the alpha chain. Okay, so both are present on the alpha subunit. So the answer is A. Do like and subscribe to my channel. Please share your valuable feedback with me. My details are in the description box below. All the best. Stay safe. Stay happy.